everybody, Athena here. The video today is going to focus on the 3-step recovery model. Now the 3 steps of recovery, they sort of apply to any situation. In this video I'm going to focus on recovery from a narcissistic parent. I'm just going to go through it very briefly so you have an understanding of what you're up against if you are somebody who has one or both parents, for that matter, that have narcissistic personality. The first step in any sort of recovery is to understand the problem that you're dealing with, what the definition of it is, so defining the problem and slowly gathering any background information that would help you in learning more about it. Because I'm talking in this case about narcissistic parent and the possible abuse that you may have suffered, you have to understand as much as you possibly can about narcissism, about narcissistic personality disorder, about the characteristics and behaviors of this sort of person. Now in step 2, you have to process all the feelings, you have to validate all the emotions that weren't validated because your parent was narcissistic. Now in stage 3, you are having to learn how to reframe the way that you think. It's about taking the negative and making it into something positive. Now how do you do that? I mean, this is a fun part of recovery. The hard part was already dealt with in stage 2 with the grieving and the getting angry and the talking about the emotions. But in this part of the recovery, you will start to see things differently, and you will become free of any symptoms and also the effects of any trauma that you had because of this narcissistic abuse that you've endured from your parents. So what happens in stage 3 is, for instance, that you might start making decisions for yourself. You might start setting boundaries with your narcissistic parent. You start to connect with your emotions. And in stage 3 of recovery, this is the selfish part, and obviously it's a selfish part in a good way. You're finding your true self. So you're finding who you really are and you're expressing that, and you're setting boundaries and you're being assertive, and you're going to stop people pleasing. You're not going to do what your parent wants anymore, or anybody for that matter. So how do you know that you've accepted your parent for being the person that they are? Now you can ask yourself a couple of questions, and these questions help me in my own recovery. So the first one is, do I continue to wish and hope that my parent will be different each time I talk to them? So when you're talking to your parent, do you still have that glimmer of hope that maybe they're going to be a bit nicer to me? Maybe they've changed. That's one sort of indication of whether you've totally accepted your parents' limitations. Another thing you can ask yourself is, do I continue to have certain expectations of my parent? So do I expect them to treat me in a better way? That's sort of tied in with the hope. And the hope that they're still going to give you what you never got as a child is basically what shows you that you might have not accepted them with their limitations. Another question you could ask yourself is, do I continue to try to get my childlike needs met in relationships instead of relying on myself? If you're somebody who's had parents who are narcissistic, you're always going to have this emptiness inside you, and it's going to be very hard to completely fill that. But if you've done your healing properly, you will find a way to fill this emptiness with love for yourself. I hope you found this video helpful. If there's anything you want to ask about healing from narcissistic abuse, but in regards to your parent being the abuser, then please let me know. I got an email recently from a lady who asked me if I do any videos on having a narcissistic child. Now I haven't done any videos on that because I don't personally have experience with it, but I will look into it, and I will do a video on how to deal with a narcissistic child and ways to protect yourself. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. I really hope you found it helpful. I hope the stages of recovery made sense, and the importance of accepting your parents' limitations when it comes to their personality disorder, in this case narcissism. Take care everybody, have a great week, and I'll see you very soon.